Hey guys, welcome back to Joshua's Japan channel, and I'm really excited for this episode because I finally get to talk about my life in depth. And I've been in a few interviews before, like Takashi and other few YouTubers, but I never had the opportunity to talk about my life in my own channel and going deep into what my life experience was growing up as a foreigner. I know many people don't call myself as a foreigner in their own countries, but in Japan, if you don't look Japanese and if you don't have a Japanese citizenship, even if you were born here, you're not Japanese. So I think even that's a new concept for people abroad. And I really want to go deep into what made me, kinda. And what happened through my experiences and what I went through and what made Joshua into Joshua, kinda. So yeah, first of all, I was born and raised in Tokyo. My name is Joshua. I think we all know that. But yeah, I was born and raised in Tokyo. My parents are also from Japan, from Hokkaido, Japan, and they were brought up by missionaries. My dad's parents are from the UK and Australia, and my mother's parents are from New Zealand. And my parents, they both grew up in Japan. My mom was born and raised in Japan. My dad was born in London and came to Japan around like when he was like six months old. But his parents actually met in Japan, and they were just back in the UK for like a year, and that's when my dad was born, and that's why I have a British passport through him. And yeah, my parents grew up in Hokkaido. They met in Hokkaido, and my dad moved to Tokyo when he was like 13, and he was back in Hokkaido for work, and that's where he met my mother, and they moved to Tokyo, and I was born. But we moved to the States for like a few years for my dad's grad school, and that's where I got my accent, the famous strange accent everybody knows. As in Takashi's interview, I saw many comments saying like Joshua has a American accent, but I don't think it's like fully American accent, but I just picked up many accents growing up. And I used to live in the States and in the East Coast, like Virginia. I went to an American school in Tokyo for a few years, only for middle school, but I always went to like events, activities at that school or English camps. I had many English-speaking people around myself. So it was never like a foreign language to me, but I didn't speak it from the age of 6 to 12 almost. And then I went into the international school. So it's really mixed up. And like when I was living in the UK, people were always like, I really can't locate your accent. And I was just like, me too, same. Same here. Like even I don't know. And like the obsession with accents in like England or America or the UK or America is just like, especially England, like they're so obsessed with accents. And I'm just like whatever, like if we're having a conversation and you can understand me, sort of the Asian, like whatever, man. So I like, this is my accent, whatever. And I went to Japanese elementary school after coming back from the States, and I really had a great time, and it was an amazing experience. And I never felt like I was never like really bullied or anything. Like I think for many people that's like a common experience, but in Japan I heard like if you look too different or if you're like, they don't even know how to like do it, is what I heard. So all my cousins are half white, half Japanese, and I heard some bullying stories, and it's not fun, it's not good. Never had like a really bad I was bullied here and there, but it didn't really affect me that all, because I always told my mom what happened at school all the time, and I was always telling her like this happened, that happened, blah blah blah. But I think around 5th grade or 6th grade I started acknowledging that I was different from everybody. Like I always knew I was different. I'm like preschool, everybody told me I look different. You're that, you're this, you're a foreigner, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really care. But I think around when I hit like 11 or 12, I really wanted to look like my friends, and I really wanted to look similar to them. I kind of got shy looking different from them, and I know I stand out all the time, and I felt sorry for my friends for me looking different, like, because they all stand out. People really care how you look, how different you are, and you really don't want to stand out, especially in Japan. If you stand out, like, it's a problem, you know? So I felt sorry, but around that time, I started going to an international school. I think people might think I would be more comfortable, but at the same time, I never spoke English for 6 years after coming back from the States. It was my first time learning in English, so I had a really hard time. It wasn't enjoyable at all, so I had to quit after 2 years. I was like crying so much. After all, like, because of that experience, I can now speak English better. I was more used to Japanese school system, learning in Japanese. My humor was really, it was like a mixture of like American humor and Japanese humor maybe, or my own humor even, I don't know. But I really had a great time at Japanese school. So I went back to Japanese middle school for like the last 8 months, and I graduated from a Japanese middle school, and I went into like a public Japanese high school, and that was the time of my life. That was so fun. It's almost like the Japanese high school movies you see at the theater or something. Always like students running away from the teacher, guys fighting over a girl after school, punching, and like that kind of vibe always going on, and it was just so fun for me. I just had, and I never cared that I looked different. I knew I looked different, but I didn't care much. And I even worked at McDonald's next to my school, and I really didn't care how I looked different. Like I was enjoying how I looked different and how I didn't look like everybody else. Like I, not proud of myself, but I like myself as I was. But I think it was after graduating high school and I started meeting foreigners at work, doing acting jobs, using English more, and then I realized how different and unique my upbringing was. And I talking to like foreigners on set, and I got to speak more English, and I was interacting with more foreigners. I just learned that there is a world outside that's totally different from Japan. I started distancing myself from like normal Japanese people and kind of created my own bubble, and I think that wasn't really good because I think it made me realize how different I was. Sometimes you don't want to realize how different you are and how different you think. That's around the time I decided to move to England, and I finally did, and I really absorbed the culture there, and I really felt comfortable. I got to express myself more, I was able to be myself more, and it was just like eye-opening. And I just had a really great time there, and I came back to Japan briefly, and I went back to the UK again, and then it was amazing. But sadly I had to come back because of COVID-19, as we all know. I came back, did a few jobs here and there, and acting jobs. It's like my brief life history, but overall I'm really appreciative of what I went through. And now I'm more interested in people with foreign background that grew up in Japan, or like half foreign and half Japanese, or like that. So I'm really interested in that kind of people right now, and I'm really keen on interviewing them and going deep into that weird Japanese culture of not accepting a foreign looking person as a Japanese. Like even I thought that I can't say Japanese, but like as I was talking to foreigners, I learned that in fact, I can say I'm Japanese, because in England, everybody was just like, oh, you're Japanese then. It's like, really? I'm Japanese? Am I allowed to say that? Like, it was almost culture shock for me, because I'm from Japan, so I took on that Japanese mentality of not dividing your nationality and your ethnic background. So, but now I really want to focus on showing the world what kind of new new Japanese people exist in Japan, or showing what real life in Japan is like. It sounds like a really typical J vlogging, but I think because I'm from here, like I can show it in a really different angle than other J vlogging YouTubers. So I'm really excited for this channel. So that was my brief life history, and I hope you enjoyed, and please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, and please leave me a comment. It really helps my channel to grow, and it really helps me as a feedback, and it gives many feedbacks and I can improve a lot. So please leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, and please look forward to my non-existing interviews, but I'm really working on it right now. So thank you, and see you again. Bye bye.